welcome to Speak the Truth 2.0. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe, and think about becoming a special friend. It's so important to us. We love our subscribers, and we do appreciate you guys taking the time to join us when we do go live. And the best way to keep up with this program is to make sure you turn on your notifications, because we pop up anytime. Like, we usually don't come on this late. We try to come on a little earlier and Monday through Friday, but it's been so much going on, and we have to speak about the government shutdown. And just in case people aren't aware, and just like I've said on previous lives, is that you can't separate the American people. We are blended into all neighborhoods, all counties, states, boroughs. We're all together. You might have a Republican senator and you might have voted for a Democrat, but he still has to represent you, and vice versa. So what happens to one, it happens to all of us. And guess what? MAGA is being hit hard, and they might be being hit harder than any other group of people. It's the people that voted for Trump, they're supporting Trump. This government shutdown is awful. We're on 28 days, and these elected officials are elected by the people to come together, to have a seat at the table, and to resolve their differences on behalf of us. Now, I don't know if this is all personal and they're ignoring it right now. Our president is taking care of business overseas. He's already given, what is it, $40 billion to Argentina? And you have a crisis here with 42 million people that are in jeopardy of losing their SNAP benefits. And one thing I want to make clear, that people always try to use Black people as a face of food stamps or welfare, but we're not. We're not. They use our face for DEI. We do not lead in DEI. None of these stereotypes that are given to Black people are true. The people that's being affected by the shutdown are mostly white people. And no one should go hungry, regardless of your ethnicity. But you have women, disability, children, they're going to be hit the hardest. You know, seniors that need these benefits. And I'm saying these are not people who don't work. That's a stereotype. People, the cost of living is so high that people have 1 and 2 jobs and they still don't have enough money to provide food for their families. And by the way, most people only getting, like, they're averaging only $196, but it matters because food is expensive. And to have that many people being affected and the government is turning its back, and the Republicans who have the White House, they have the Senate, they have Congress, they have everything. They have the presidency. So they are in control. But the reason why, I'm just doing this little dialogue before we go into reacting on some of the videos, is that we don't care about whose fault it is. We want this resolved because there's too many people being affected. This is beyond the color of people's skin, because regardless, everyone is going to feel the impact one way or another. And the reason why the Democrats are not going along with this nonsense is because on top of losing your SNAP benefits, perhaps this weekend, and Thanksgiving is coming up? Really? Thanksgiving is coming up. And they're holding out. So on top of it, MAGA and Democrats, Republicans, that people don't lose their health care. They're fighting for your health care. When the Democrats are wrong and all that, I've been going at them ever since we had this channel. I've been going at them. But 2 wrongs don't make a right. It doesn't make a right. So we have to do something to work together. That's why they are elected, for the people, not for some of the people, all the people. We have one president at a time, and he has to do right by all Americans. Not, thank you. That's so cute. Not, thank you so much. He has to do right by all Americans, all of us. It matters. I don't need assistance. I don't need help. But that doesn't mean that I don't care. I have housing. That doesn't mean I don't care about people unable to afford housing and not having a roof over their head. I don't want to see people living on the streets or in their cars and vans. So that's why I fight. And that's why I have this channel. And I'm not beholden, which I've said, if you're a regular viewer or subscriber, that I have said over and over again, I'm not beholden to man, I'm beholden to God. I put God is my provider. I don't lack any good thing because of God. But we are supposed to speak the truth, and we're supposed to be honest, and trying to fight each other and them having us battle each other, whether you MAGA or Democrat. I've been both. I think now we're becoming independent because both sides aren't doing right by us. At the end of the day, you have all these people in all these states, 48 states, but mostly in the red states, that are going to lose their benefits. And when they show you people on TV, they want to put black people on there when white people are on receiving welfare and SNAP benefits over any other ethnic group. But they're telling us the immigrants, the illegal immigrants that have come into this country, they did receive assistance from this government, because you can't come in homeless with nothing if they didn't get some of our benefits. But hope to God, as of now, they're not draining our benefits. But now it's about Americans. When I'm hearing not illegal immigrants, but I'm hearing 42 Americans. That's a difference for me. 42 Americans are going to lose their SNAP benefits. And we have something like Thanksgiving coming up and they're unable to feed their families? Are you kidding me? How are you going to celebrate Thanksgiving and you don't have any food? And right now you have different states that are trying to set up these pantries, these food banks, but they're going to be exhausted, because you're going to have millions of people that's going to need help. So people are going to go hungry. And on top of that, if the Democrats give in, guess what, people? You're going to lose your health care. Your health care. On top of all of this. And if you do have health care, your premiums are going to skyrocket. You're going to be paying hundreds of thousands of dollars more per month for health care. We got to stop this red and blue and look at people. Everybody, when they're hungry, you get your stomach growls like everyone else's. When you need a roof over your head, if you don't have a roof, the rain's going to fall on you, regardless who you voted for. So we need to hold these elected officials accountable and stop trying to allow them to have us to fight one another. Trump said America first. Now we got 230 or 330 or however much the new ballroom is going to cost. That's not a problem. We could let out somebody that did a Ponzi scheme or from Bitcoin or wherever he's from, $50 billion, and he's been pardoned. It's like the focus isn't right. And we got the Republicans, Mike Johnson, he's standing on, oh, well, it's the Democrats' fault. Okay, breaking news. I don't give a damn whose fault it is. I want you to resolve it, because that's why you've been elected into office. You're running the government. The Republicans are running the government. Come to the table. You can't allow the Republicans, and this is what's getting me, and I voted that way this time. You can't allow them to be on recess or on vacation and not having communication. Nothing's going to be solved like that. Meanwhile, you're going to see, watch how the news is going to change this weekend. Let them not resolve this situation by the weekend, and you're going to hear an outpouring, an outcry. Robberies are going to go up. Theft is everything's going to go up. You have people working right now that haven't been paid for over a month.
Guys in the comments, you can look up everything she's saying.
They haven't been paid for a month. You think that's fake news? That these TSAs and these control towers and all these federal workers haven't been paid? And they talking about maybe not even giving them back pay. Guess what they supposed to tell their landlord? Oh, well, the government shut down, don't have the money. Guess what? They're going to put them out. They can't pay their car. No, car going to be repossessed. Try not having your job and not getting a paycheck, because they said most Americans live from paycheck to paycheck. They don't even have emergency funds. This is serious. But you got so many people that's so hateful and evil. It's going to affect people you know. It's going to affect your community. And if you think that MAGA is exempt from it, you got another thing coming, because they say most of the red states are the ones that are going to be hit the hardest. Can you believe that? I'm like shocked. I'm shocked. People who voted for Trump. He's overseas making deals. You know, he's allowing other people to come into our country, set up business, but the jobs haven't come in, all the promises, but people have been fired. And we're the living wage jobs. They can replace these people's jobs, replace their health care, replace their life insurance, replace what they're losing in the process. We're going to go here. Listen to some statistics.
To end the shutdown, but it's expected to fail again. Officials are warning food assistance programs for low-income Americans are set to run out by the end of the week. Now, millions of Americans are questioning how they will get enough to eat. Let's bring in ABC's Jerry O'Brien on Capitol Hill and business reporter Alexis Christophorus for more on that. So, Alexis, how big is the impact here if SNAP benefits run out?
It could be devastating. In fact, I saw this one quote from the CEO of Hunger Free America. He says, "We would have the greatest hunger catastrophe in this country since the Great Depression." When you look at the sheer numbers, Diane, about 42 million people on SNAP benefits, formerly known as food stamps. More than 62% of those live in households with children. 37% include older adults, people with disabilities, veterans. And a misconception here is that people on SNAP benefits don't work. A large number of them do. They're families that go out to work and try to make ends meet. So if this program were to just suddenly end, a lot of these people will not be getting their checks all of these people would not be getting their checks November 1st if the government doesn't do something about it. Could be devastating and would really put the strain on those states to try to fill the gap.
Jay, what's the latest on this vote?
So this vote is going to go down just like the rest of them did. It's going to fail because we haven't seen any meaningful change in the posture up here on Capitol Hill. Democrats are continuing to hold out here for an extension of Obamacare tax credits that are set to expire at the end of the year. And if they do expire, they could cost premiums for tens of millions of Americans, about 20 million people on the Affordable Care Act, to get their insurance rather through the Affordable Care Act to expire. But Obamacare open enrollment is just a few days away, so the deadline's even closer than the end of the year. Republicans have said they're not going to negotiate on that while the government is actively shut down. But with each passing day, to Alexis's point, the impacts of this shutdown get worse and worse. And we are seeing SNAP just days away from drying up. There are about 42 million Americans who rely on SNAP to feed their families. And that is adding some additional pressure here on lawmakers. Even Republicans like Senator Josh Hawley have now put forward these additional bills that would try to fund SNAP while the government is actively shut down. It's unclear if Senate Republican leaders who control the floor would actually put that bill up for a vote. They have opposed similar kinds of legislation to kind of blunt the impacts of this shutdown in the past. But we've also brought a similar question on that topic to Democrats, saying at what point does the pain of this shutdown, tens of millions of Americans going hungry, outweigh this fight for health care that they say that they're waging here? And I just asked that question moments before we came in the air with you, with Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal, and he said he believes that it is, and I'm paraphrasing him here, a just fight for health care here. He believes that the American people are behind him. He called on Republicans to pass these kind of, again, ways of blunting the impacts of the shutdown, separate bills to pay federal workers, separate bills to fund SNAP, but also the cleanest way to fund this, Republicans say, is just to vote to fund the government, which Democrats are holding back because they want these serious healthcare concessions that they say are crucial for tens of millions of Americans.
Alexis, what can people who rely on those benefits do?
Look, there are local food banks and community food banks,
I need to
church
hear
groups,
it.
synagogues. They're all coming together. A number of states, a handful of states have said, look, we're going to release some state funding to try to, fill this gap. It doesn't mean they're going to send people their SNAP benefit checks. It means they're going to go benefit the food banks in that particular area. For California, for instance, said they're going to send in the National Guard to go work at the food banks to help give out food as they did during the pandemic. Virginia has declared a state of emergency and said SNAP benefits will be provided until the end of the shutdown, but that's really only one state that has so far been able to say that. We know that the Department of Agriculture has contingency funds, but they're saying they're not going to release them, that they legally cannot. They say they can only do that in times of disaster like a hurricane, a flood. Some may say this is a disaster with so many millions of people, about to lose their benefits. And one other thing I want to point out, other government programs that might, pick up the bill here if SNAP isn't around are not functioning right now because of the shutdown. So people who may have tried to save money with their electric bills with HEAP or trying to get money from something called the temporary cash assistance, those programs are either not up and running or severely delayed, Diane.
And Jay, meanwhile, House Republicans are claiming former President Biden's executive actions are null and void over his use of an auto pen. What's the latest on that investigation, and how's the Biden camp responding?
You know what? The thing about it is that what's going on now, that we can't just brush this under the rug. So you guys can fact check. You have to be living on Mars if you don't know what's going on with this shutdown at this point. The government is on the verge. If something isn't agreed upon prior to November the 1st, 42 million people are not going to receive their SNAP benefits. Now, the Republicans, I'll show Mike Johnson in a sec. He's saying that it's the Democrats' fault. Okay, let's say it's the Democrats' fault for the sake of argument. It's their fault. Who's in charge of the government? Who's in charge of the government? Who's in charge of the government? Who's in charge? The president, right? The president is what? A Republican. Who has the Senate? Who has the majority in the Senate? Oh, the Republicans, right? Who has the majority in the House? Republicans. So they're in charge of everything that's going on. And they're saying it's the Democrats' fault. But what I've come to realize, the Democrats haven't been able to stop the big, beautiful bill. They haven't been able to do anything because they don't have all the power. But they need, I think, 60 votes for this, for the government to be opened back up. But whether you realize it or not, they're fighting for your health care. Not illegals, just like these SNAP benefits. Those are not illegal immigrants that we're talking about. Do y'all understand? These are Americans. And this government and Trump administration that I thought they were doing a phenomenal job is supposed to be about America first. But I'm seeing so much suffering coming from this administration towards Americans. All those federal workers, on top of it, have lost their jobs, living wage jobs. They haven't been replaced. Those jobs provided housing, car payments, insurance, water, gas, putting their kids through school. Those were living wage jobs with benefits. They didn't replace those. So the unemployment rate went up. Those weren't Mickey D jobs. Those were great jobs that Elon came in with his Doge people talking about, we're going to cut federal spending. That didn't put a dent into that $37 trillion deficit that we have right now. What that did was increase the unemployment. Now, if we had those companies that promised to come here and do business, if they were already here and those workers could go into the transfer into secular positions, that would be different. But you're not looking at, if you're about America first, that those federal workers were vets. A lot of them are your military because they can transfer their annual leave, their sick leave, and their time served with the military onto a federal job. So when they get a federal job, they come in with seniority. You could be a civilian and you could have worked at that job 10 years, but that military guy that never worked at your job could come in and he could have seniority over you because he'd been in the military for 13 years. And you only been working there 10 years. So they come in with seniority so they can bid on jobs and get a job over you because they already have served. They've been fired. They've been laid off. And since the government has been shut down, 4,000 more of them have lost their jobs. 4,000 more. So all this hate and all this stuff that we got going on, with one another, all of this that's going on, that people don't want to hear the truth. And you can fact check everything. They said that this was going on now. This is Trump now. What's going on? They said that this could become the biggest food shortage since the Depression. Are y'all hearing this? Really? Since the Depression? You're going to see a lot of people out here doing a lot of things they ordinarily wouldn't do, like going into supermarkets, stealing food because they can't feed their kids. So now they're going to become criminals. So we're going to have the military or ICE arresting more American citizens because they're going to be stealing because they're hungry. 42 million people, that's a lot. That's a lot of people. And like they said, the misconception is what I said on other programs, is that people believe that people that get assistance from the government don't work. And that's a lie. It's the cost of living is so high. And they're not making living wages. They're getting minimum wages. They work 8 hours a day and they only made, $56 or $60 or something. They can't live off of that.
Instead of just saying that this is misinformation, why don't you say in the comments what she's saying is what's misinformation about it?
What's misinformation is that you selfish and you're only thinking about yourself. Because this is on every freaking news channel. And I'm putting the news channels on. It's on every content creator. It's on X. It was formerly Twitter. It's everywhere. You're living in a bubble or in bubble land if you don't know that this is real and what's going on. This is the truth. This is called Speak the Truth for a reason. Nobody has a reason to be on here to lie to you or give you misinformation. I'm not no hired freaking reporter. I don't have any skin in the game. I'm not getting paid for this. This is because I care and it matters. And we need people in office that for a change that actually care about the people. Where are they at? Where the freaking elected officials that not in it for themselves, they care about the welfare of the American people? Because they ain't on the Democrat side, and now it look like it's not on the Republican side. So where are the leadership? But if the Democrats are holding out, why is it bouncing? If the Democrats are holding out because of the fact that they're going to remove millions off of health care and close hospitals and nursing homes and rural hospitals, and people won't be able to get health care and premium is going to go up, then I support that. Hold out, Democrats. Then hold out. I'm in agreement with that. I'm not beholden to either side. I'm beholden to what's right. That's it. This stuff is ridiculous. And still people got something to say. Let's say what happens when people start, you seeing crime is going to go up. Because when you get hungry enough, they're going to steal. They're going to steal.
Well, so the person said that the chat is going against what we're saying. We have mostly Republican viewers, and what we're saying right now isn't in total support of the Republicans. So obviously the chat is going to be upset.
Yeah, our viewership is mostly MAGA Republicans. That's what we really always have Trump up. But we said we don't agree with anyone 100% in anything. No one does in life. You don't agree with your husband 100%, your wife, your kids, your bosses. Nobody does. And we said we'll call them out when we don't agree. I don't agree with this. I don't agree with our president being overseas when we have a crisis here. This is a crisis. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Something needs to be done about it. And all this time, they want see, the Republicans are all getting paid. They're leaning car. They're not even at work. They're not even in Washington. They're not even trying to bring this to an end. And all they got to do is tell you it's the Democrats. Well, you can't say that to me. I hold both parties responsible for whatever's going on. This is not about pointing fingers. I do this. It's not about pointing fingers. It's about getting results. That's why you're in leadership. You can't do the job, resign.
Mike said something funny.
What?
He said, "What's the new crisis today?" There's a lot of crises going on.
It's like every day it's been a crisis. I'm like, I thought this was Make America Great Again. We move in the right direction. We closed the borders. We got illegal immigrants from off our Social Security, our Medicare, all this stuff. And now I just see using the military now for a training ground for American citizens. I see the government's been shut down. We're making history with how the length of time we've been shut down so far. They say that if they don't do something by November the 1st this weekend, that this country will have the same effects of a depression. 42 million people are going to have food insecurities. They're already hungry. 42 million people? No, Americans. Let me clarify. Y'all. And from red states and mostly Trump supporters, it's going to hit MAGA. You're not exempt. So we need to be calling, regardless if your congressman is Republican or Democrat, you need to be on them. You need to be calling Washington. You need to be calling your local officials and say that you want the government reopened. That's what you should be doing. And this is real talk.
People in the comments keep saying that the Democrats voted no and refused the bill.
You know what? You sleep on that while you hungry. Hopefully you're not one of the hungry people. Because you're listening to bullshit is what you're listening to. All they got to do, one thing I learned what media does, they try to brainwash us. They keep saying the same thing over and over and over and over again until you start repeating it. That's what they do. We know who's running this country, and it's not the Democrats. We know that they can open back up this government, and we know that the president could put in an order to release funds so that they will have the monies so that people would get their SNAP benefits. But they say they're not going to do it. He said he's not going to do it. So they want Americans to be starved out, keep telling you it's the Democrats, that the Democrats give up, and then it's going to be people that don't have goddamn health care. They holding out for health care for you. So it's a lose-lose. And they ain't going to be happy. Republicans going to be happy. Now they're going to kick millions of more people off of freaking health care. Close hospitals. They fighting for you. See, everybody got their good moves. Sometimes the Republicans do right. Sometimes the Democrats do right. This time the Democrats are trying to do right. That's how it goes in government.
Do you want to show what Bernie and AOC said about this?
Which one? About?
How they won't pick up just the phone and have a conversation.
Yeah, if you could find, I'll put this on and you could put that
it could
on.
very well just not end because nobody seems to be that interested in ending it. But for Americans who are on SNAP, this weekend is going to be where they're going to have to face the reality that, honestly, $188 in this economy is not even a whole lot of money for food, but it's going to go away.
I mean,
Luckily, we have the money to bail out Argentina to the tune of $40 billion. And by bailing out Argentina, of course, the Trump administration is helping to bail out the hedge funds invested in Argentina. It's not a good look when the Republican Party won't concede on the one thing that's important here, which is add the subsidies to the Affordable Care Act so people's health care premiums don't double. And that's it. That's what the Democrats are asking for. But Republicans refuse to sign on to that. And if we're going to keep having this dysfunctional government situation or congressional situation year after year, I mean, they're still collecting my taxes. Why are they collecting my taxes? For what? And what's the important work that Mike Johnson is doing right now and the Republicans are doing right now? Does anyone know? I mean, there's some Republicans on the panel right now. Can you guys tell me the important work they're doing?
All Republicans want is for Democrats to do what Democrats have demanded others do time and time again. What Democrats themselves have done: vote for clean CRs.
Do you think that
has been
premiums should double?
This has been
Do you think premiums
the
should
premium
double?
that your party chose to have subsidy.
This is a product of the Democratic Party's own
Should the
doing.
premiums
And now
double?
they're looking and they're trying to point the finger at the
It's
Republican
a simple
Party.
question.
They could-
Should the premiums double?
Should they open up the government? The answer is yes.
The government
If you
will
open up the government,
if they
we can get
give
into
the
those
Democrats the one
negotiations.
thing they're asking for, which is a just issue.
You
a
want to
just
talk
issue
about
to fight
premiums,
for.
and we just talked about SNAP benefits. Who cares about healthcare when you cannot put food on the table? You have
Yeah,
millions
SNAP
of
benefits are
Americans.
important too.
You have a lot of Americans
Yeah.
that are going to be without food stamps.
So you want the
because of
Democrats to
Democratic Party.
sign on to funding the government
And this is
No,
why
we
in
want
a
them-
situation
we want
in which
them
the
to do
premiums
what
will
they-
double
we
for
want them to
Americans
do what
who
they've
already have a
committed to
difficult
do
time paying
time
for
and
their
time
health
again.
insurance.
What is the
10 years
difference?
ago.
What is the
And
difference
you
of the
guys
bill? What is the
really do
difference
not
for the
care
bill
about the
that you
well-being of the
voted for?
American
What is the
people
difference?
at all,
There's a big
at all.
difference.
This is
There's
the
a big
big
difference.
Democratic
Hold on
Party.
one second, hold on one
I
second.
So
have
it
to
is.
say,
Just
I
one
have
at
to
a time
say,
for now.
it's
Go ahead.
amazing to get lectures on how much you care about SNAP benefits.
Because I have family members on
Just,
SNAP,
then,
yes.
then why did you support the president when he asked for and got $186 billion of cuts to SNAP?
They were
If you
cleaning
cared-
up the program
they
for
were-
waste, fraud, and abuse.
Oh my
You and I
God,
both
that
know
is
that.
all ridiculous.
Because you cannot
People
have a
are gonna
program.
go hungry
No.
from those
Straw
SNAP
man's
cuts.
argument.
No,
You
it's
cannot
not.
have.
Those people, I'm sorry,
Finish.
you just paid for 186, and you took $186 billion out of the SNAP program, $186 billion that will go
Waste,
to
fraud, and
people.
abuse.
It's not waste, fraud,
It
and
is.
abuse. Well, you like to say that, but it's actually false.
Look at
And you
what we
took
actually
the
did.
money, and you
But
took
this
the
is the
money
overall
for
problem.
billionaires.
What you're
tax
mad
cut.
about is the passage
I'm
of one
sorry.
big beautiful
No,
bill.
so
You
I'm
guys have to
not.
realize that
I
elections
am-
have consequences,
I am
and your
mad.
side
Hold
lost.
on
I
one
am
second.
angry.
Just on the waste, fraud, and abuse point. Over the last 15 years, SNAP fraud has fallen from 4% to 1%. So there's already very little fraud in the SNAP program, according to the
$180
government.
billion is a lot more.
Dude, the
than
But-
Pentagon hasn't
but
passed
look,
a single
regardless
audit.
of that, I mean, people who are on the program right now are going to not have benefits. I think it's interesting because the Trump administration says, you know, there's $6 billion in the emergency fund. $8 billion is needed to cover the month of November. They're saying that they can't use that money because that money needs to be set aside for, you know, hurricanes and other emergencies. But they've been willing to move money around for all
Yes, for our
kinds of
troops.
other,
Abby,
For aviation safety.
all kinds of other,
Abby,
they've been willing to move money around
Democrats
for all
can't
kinds of
pass the
other
buck.
reasons. The
Yeah.
question is, why not this one?
You-
Tara, let me
I
let
just
Tara
think
have
that
it.
we have to all acknowledge that these are political games that are being played by both sides.
Of
okay?
course, it's
The
politics.
Democrats
clean
could
CR
open
is
the
not a
government
game.
tomorrow, but they are using an old Republican tactic of closing the government to have leverage right now.
Who closed
okay?
the government?
This
It's the
is
Democrats who closed it.
Okay, but they are doing it for leverage, and
Who?
the
The Democrats
Republicans realize that the Democrats are not
You have the
holding,
number
so
two
now
in the
they are
House.
withholding SNAP
You have the
benefits,
number
which
two
they can
House
also
Democrats
do-
saying that this is a
Okay,
leverage
in
strategy.
In 2018, they had the same
It's
risk.
2025.
No, in 2018, they had the same risk of losing food stamps, SNAP benefits, and they went into another reserve to cover it during Trump's longest shutdown, okay?
And that was the Trump
And
administration.
so the point is that both are withholding funds
You all
and
are
aid
ignoring.
and ability.
You all are
If they would
ignoring.
just sit down and actually
So
talk
let's
about
just
having
let's
a
just address what she
conversation
said, because she's arguing, and I think there's good reason to believe that obviously there are political games being played here. Democrats are keeping the government shut down until they get concessions on healthcare. And the Trump administration, which in the past has used other funds to cover SNAP benefits, is not doing it now. Why?
That's so funny. We had someone talking about change the channel. These guys are morons. That was kind of funny. You know what? It's like the people that are losing out at the end of the day are American people. The way that they were going at it with that panel of people from CNN, because we listen to everybody, um, that's what they're doing now in the government. That's how they're fighting, and nothing's getting done. And that's a disservice to the American people. We don't care. What I care about, like people want to say, like, it's, the worst thing is starvation or people can't eat. And when those little children and these parents, they're working, but they don't have enough to feed their kids, their children gonna be looking at them like, what we're gonna have to eat. And they got to go to school and learn the next day. They have to go to school, but they're gonna go to bed with no dinner. They're going to wake up with no breakfast, and hopefully they have a school lunch if that's provided for them. It's the children that are going to suffer. It's going to be people with disabilities that are going to suffer. It's working people who are going to suffer.
To the people that keep saying that the Democrats voted no, that is true, but the Republicans, the Republicans control the presidency in both chambers of Congress right now and have majority of the power and responsibility to keep the government open. Most of this bears on the Republicans, not the Democrats.
And they have funds that they can distribute while the government is shut down, so that the American citizens will not have to go through this. And look at the time. See, they want this to happen now because Thanksgiving is coming up. And if the Democrats give in, then you're going to have all these hospitals closing in rural areas. You're going to have nursing homes closing. You're going to have premiums skyrocketing to the point people can't afford health care. So they're going to, this is a lose-lose for everyday American people. So I agree with the Democrats are holding the hell out right now. Because on top of this BS, I don't want American people losing their health care, and you have an administration that don't give a damn if they lose it or not. That's what's going on here. They're holding out for MAGA, actually, because they're going to be mostly impacted, and it's like the Republicans don't realize it. You're going to be heavily hit with this. Heavily hit with this. Those hospitals and those rural areas and places that you guys live at, you're going to be hit. They're trying to save healthcare, not for illegal immigrants. They try to paint that picture. Illegal immigrants, they did get benefits coming to this country because they came with nothing. So nobody can lie and tell me they didn't get our benefits. They did. But we're talking about what's going on now. We're talking about the people that's going to be affected now are American citizens. Those 42 million people, they talking about Americans. Those people, health care, the Affordable Care Act, and all of that, or Obamacare, whatever you want to call it, those are going to be Americans. Do y'all understand? See, some people got to learn everything the hard way. This would be like, I told you so. You don't want that to happen. Do you know what it is not to be able to go to the doctor, or they're closing a hospital that's near you, and you got to drive now an hour for care, emergency care, but your hospital's an hour away from you now because they're closing hospitals right now. Like, some people don't understand because they doing well now. You got your job, you got your health care, and you're not worrying about this because you can, you still can put food on the table. Guess what? Life is like this. It's up and down. It's a roller coaster. One day you can be doing fine, and the next day you could be without your job. Then it's a crisis. Then it's a problem. Because they close in different companies all the time now. People are being laid off everywhere. But you got people that's on here that they sold. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it, because this is not the time to be racist or be prejudiced and all that. Because if you're hungry, it don't matter what color your skin is. I don't know what it is. But I know that I don't want to see Americans hurt because I was about American first. What's happening here? And we got Republicans, they need to go the hell back to work. Our president is out of the country, and everything is collapsing here in the United States. And while all this is going on, you want to point at the Democrats because you're trying to muscle them into, let's put pressure on them by the food stamps so we can get rid of them. We're going to get rid of their damn health care. We're going to switch food for health care. That's what the deal is. I don't like the choices. It doesn't make any sense. I didn't see this coming from this administration. I thought this administration was going to build the country back up. That this administration was going to put America first. That this administration was going to be a problem with health care, Medicare, Medicaid. I never saw it was going to be a problem with food insecurities. It's only, 8 or 9 months into Trump's presidency. And we're taking care of more stuff overseas than we are here. How are we going to give $40 billion to Argentina and we're going to let Qatar come here and build a freaking base in Iowa and we're letting all this stuff go on in our country and we're not taking care of our citizens, but you got some citizens, they more interested in whether they Republican or Democrat. Who cares? You're going to fight tooth and nail. And you know how they win? They win by you fighting one another. They rich. They're millionaires. Everybody in Congress is a millionaire, multi-millionaire. They still getting paid. Government shut down, but they still get their check. So they're not losing anything. They're not losing 1 cent. But they have you going and you losing your house. You can't feed your kids. You don't have health care now. And there's no jobs to replace what you're losing. We are so delusional about what's important these days that we're so busy want to fight one another that we can't see we're being played. We're being played. Y'all don't even know game. Being played by this government.
They can continue to hold out for health care for illegal aliens and gender mutilation procedures, or reopen government so mothers, babies, and the most vulnerable among us can receive critical nutrition assistance.
The nearly 90-year-old program provides monthly benefits to low-income families to help them afford food. Democrats argue that the program has contingency funds which can be used to cover at least some of the costs in the event of a shutdown. But the USDA says those funds are only meant for unforeseen events like natural disasters and that the current shutdown does not qualify as an unforeseen event. The announcement has been ripped by Democrats. Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro and Angie Craig writing in a statement, quote, "This is perhaps the most cruel and unlawful offense the Trump administration has perpetrated yet, freezing funding already enacted into law to feed hungry Americans while he shovels tens of billions of dollars out the door to Argentina and into his ballroom."
But Republicans are adamant that it's on Democrats to help reopen the government if they want SNAP funding to continue. And some on the right take issue with the fact that so many people are on SNAP benefits in the first place. Writer for Town Hall, Amy Curtis, says this is unsustainable. We cannot have more than 10% of our population relying on government for food.
In the meantime, people who are on SNAP benefits are being encouraged to utilize local food pantries for their needs instead. We're now in day 28 of the government shutdown, just 1 week away from matching the longest shutdown ever. Unfortunately, I think we're going to get to the longest shutdown ever and pass it, which is pretty terrible and embarrassing, but also, I understand all sides of this coin. First, I want to just say there's a common misconception that people that are on SNAP are just unemployed. So a lot of the conservative commentary about, oh my God, 40 million, that doesn't mean 40 million people are just sitting on their behinds not working. As we explained, there are a lot of people that are the most vulnerable of our population that are actually in reality working, but they have low income jobs trying to better their lives and get away from that poverty line. So SNAP helps supplement low wages. That's one type of person. It helps people in between jobs that are trying to figure things out, especially as there's multiple layoffs still happening around our country. It helps people that have income volatility, meaning it goes up and down and changes however, because maybe it's a freelance or not stable job. It helps people who are disabled. We would like to help those people, right, that are still working but disabled and elderly. So those are a lot of people on SNAP. It helps veterans that came back from combat or from Navy or military roles that are looking for work. It also helps low-income students that are trying to get off the ground and get on their feet and find a job and achieve the American dream. So there are like a wide variety under that 40 million. As you know, even for example, the easiest example is that students will go on and get jobs, right? They're literally in school and about to leave and go.
Yeah, well, I don't want students on it for the most part, and
well, some kids don't have a family that could support them past college, right? So if your parents shovel out everything you can, even with scholarships, and they can't afford to feed you in college, should you not achieve the American dream and go to college if that is your dream and not be able to continue to eat?
Well,
I mean, it just really helps with
college
groceries.
who are on food stamps were perfectly wealthy people who were using the technical distinction in the law that they have no source of income.
You know wealthy
using it to
people,
buy
you
alcohol.
knew wealthy people, you can't buy alcohol. What are you saying? Like you knew wealthy people on food stamps with alcohol. That's like maybe an anomaly.
Money is fungible, so you can use the food stamp money to buy your groceries and the money you would have spent on groceries to buy alcohol. So there's no actual.
So I saw a study in
These are
this.
wealthy.
Well, that's one example that you have, but I'm talking about the 40 million. So that's great that you have that one example. What SNAP has specifically lifted, for example, I looked at Alabama. 115 people have come out of the poverty line in Alabama because of SNAP benefits, meaning they were on it for a little while and then got themselves out of poverty and began working without
this
SNAP.
is an example of that. You were on it for a little while and now it's going away. And
yeah, and then it works well. So there's people who haven't gotten themselves away from that poverty line enough to stop using it, but we're not funding it right now.
A permanent class of 40 million people.
It's not permanent class. It's just like people. The people change. The people get older. People. It's not sustainable to do it forever. You do it until you get away from that poverty line enough to sustain yourself. But then on the other hand, the Democrats are looking at this and saying, listen, if we end the shutdown and cave on a lot of these subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, we're actually watching people now that we're deep in November and you can preview what those health insurance costs might look like. People are looking at health insurance bills for their families that were $900 this year and that are going to be more like $1,800 next year. And so those same people who just got themselves out of the poverty line, since we're talking about the most vulnerable people across our country, are now going to get back in poverty because they can't even keep health insurance through the Affordable Care Act. And so that's not a good plan either. So when Democrats look at how they handle this, it's like you have one thing where you help everybody who's the most vulnerable trying to get out of poverty, or you put tons of people that are on the Affordable Care Act in poverty just because they want to keep their health insurance. And those are two terrible choices. So I think maybe Republicans should come to the table and have dialogue about how to extend these Affordable Care Act subsidies. Even though they were given during COVID, there's still people who need them, and let's just figure out how to move forward instead of avoiding the conversation completely. And we are literally in enrollment season.
See, the thing about like what's going on, the thing about what's going on is that people can be smug. You can tell people that have it going on, they really smug. They're God can flip that script, and tomorrow you go to work and they say we no longer need your services. So people need to be careful, like when they don't consider others. Because I noticed, like the news report, that was the Hill. Like she was like, making some valid points, but he was like really smug. Just like some people that's in this chat is like, because it hasn't hit you, keep living for a while. Life hits all of us. And I can come on here and I don't lack any good thing. My God blessed me with a single home. I always pay my cars with cash. I'm just saying, we don't get assistance. I don't need it. But that doesn't mean that you're supposed to turn the other cheek and not be concerned about others and how their lives are being negatively affected. People are more interested these days in being right, regardless of their party, and being hateful towards others. Well, they shouldn't be on it, they on it. People are working poor these days. They're the working poor. And what they get, they only average like $196 per person. That's nothing. But they need it because the jobs they have, and they make a minimum wages. I thank God that God always had a great careers. I thank God. And that's why you need more than one source of income. You got to have multiple sources of income. You can't rely on one job or two jobs. But what's going on is in present time. It's going on now. And that's what the problem is. The things that's going on now, they need help today. President Trump, when is he coming back to the United States? Mike Johnson, he's not going to do anything until the Democrats cave in. And then the next big problem is now your health care has tripled or you have lost it. That's what this administration is doing now. They muscling. They muscling. You want them to eat? Okay, let us cut all them off of health care. They can eat, but now they're not going to have health care. So we're going to switch up the crisis. It's either or. And it's not right. I thought we was going to have better government. I thought we were going to have more provisions and a better economy, and Americans would be doing better. Hello, Houston. This is not better. Nothing about what's going on is making America better. Nothing about this is great, no matter how you look at it. I'm not even going to fool myself and act like this is okay.
Making it great again.
I can't even justify this for Trump. I can't even justify this because it's right there, and I'm not going to, because I serve God, and you got to speak up for what's right and wrong. And what's going on now, this is wrong, and the Republicans are trying to muscle the Democrats for those votes to get rid of people's health care. And people need to be able to go to the doctors.
Echo Mays, what about the people with disabilities?
All the people.
You're saying you're doing great and people need to get off the government.
Oh, that can change.
What about the people with disabilities? What about the people with children? Like, not everyone has to just worry about themselves in life.
A lot of people been laid off and lost their jobs. You could be next. See, you got to be careful what you say, because God will humble you. Because you're doing fine today, you better be careful. Because tomorrow you could go to work and not have a job. Or because you might have health care, but guess what? They can raise your health care because it is so high that you can't afford it. You can't afford it. So they're going to get you coming and going. So you have to be careful what you're saying. But I expect our government to do better than this. I feel like we've been in crisis mode with the National Guards, with ICE, all this stuff that's been going on. Now we got a food insecurity going on. They say we have until this weekend, and nobody is budgeting, nobody is moving. If the Democrats cave in, then healthcare, then you're gonna get hit with the healthcare crisis.
Chad,
this is some bull crap.
Chad, Joe Biden already had us in chaos. Now we're in even more chaos.
Yeah, it's like you can't win. We was at the Democrat side. I was like, okay, they really did. Oh my God, we had all the incompetence with the Democratic Party. We had Joe Biden, who was 40% on vacation. He opened up the borders. Kamala Harris was MIA, and she was supposed to be the border czar. She didn't take any responsibility. We didn't have any candidates that was really qualified running for president with Kamala. And she ran for like 3 months, 2 months. She didn't even talk. And then when she did, it was worse out. Then we had Tampon Tim. I mean, and they have done more harm, especially to my community, Black community. And we've been voting for them religiously, getting nothing. So then I looked at them. I'm like, look, they were behind the 1994 crime bill, mass incarceration of Black people. They were behind filibustering the Civil Rights Act of 1965. They were behind Ku Klux Klan that started in Tennessee, Pulaski, Tennessee. They were behind all these negativities. So then I said, okay, let's go with the Republicans. Let's go with the Republicans. Trump will get this country back together. He's a businessman. This is what we need. Start out great, then I start seeing Elon. Too much of Elon. I thought he was the vice president. He didn't do anything. but had people fired. And we still have a $37 trillion deficit.
And removing Black history.
Removing Black history. Trying to remove all affirmative action, everything that people have benefited from, that our forefathers have fought for. And this wasn't just for Black people, this is for white women and Hispanics and other ethnicities because of our struggle. And now they're trying to remove everything because we do have people in the party now, like Stephen Miller, that hates anyone that's not white. So, it's like you can't win. And now we're going through a government shutdown, the longest in history. And the switch off is if the Democrats give in, then American citizens, millions are going to lose their health care and hospitals are going to close. Right now, 42 million people will not be able to eat. And we got Thanksgiving coming up. And that's what they want. They're like, this will pressure them. This will pressure them. So the people can eat. The people be screaming, oh, Democrats. That's why they keep telling you it's the Democrats' fault. But it's their fault. It's their fault. You're not going to blame one party. You could blame both parties. But I hold the Republicans responsible in this one. Because they playing games. Leave the health care alone. And then they can, go on. Compromise this bill about the health care. Have a seat at the table. Have a seat at the table. Have a seat at the table. And all those people that don't believe it, don't worry, it's coming your way. See, people don't believe until they suffer and they go through it. They like, oh, well, my job fine. Oh, I got money. I don't need SNAP. I don't need this. Okay. Just give it a while. God will come. Don't worry, you have your turn. All them haughty people that think that you beyond approach that things are not going to happen for you. And then when it does, you're going to want people to help you too. You better remember this. Because life happens to all of us. So all your, they getting this and that and all that. Have some living wage jobs out here. People can't live off of minimum wages. People are working. But minimum wages, they're not making anything. I thank God I never had to work at a minimum wage. God always had me walking. I never crawled. I always was on 2 feet. And that's because of the grace of God. But we got to do better. And as long as they have people that are going to want others to suffer instead of looking at what's going on, and you're not looking at the multi-millionaires that's running this, and they're not going through this, but they have people that's barely making it, or middle class, upper middle class. Y'all, we're going to fight each other while they soaring. They soaring. But as long as they got you fighting, you think you all, well, I don't got these problems. Okay, you will. Because they're not working for us right now.
I'll just say this to Chad.
What?
Chad, did you know that the Republican Party was supporting Abraham Lincoln, and after the Civil War, Republicans passed the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, abolishing slavery, granting citizenship, and protecting voting rights for Black Americans? And did you know that the Democrats, the Southern Democrats, supported and tolerated the KKK? If you're saying that party, Democrats are for you as a Black man.
Yeah, well, they're not. I don't think we have any party that's for us. They both are failing us. Like, I'm an independent from this day for now. I'm an independent. Because neither party's for the American people. We don't have anybody working for us on our behalf. Nobody's working for us. Everybody want to give us a song and dance. And right now, this has been the most childish administration I've ever seen. All this pointing fingers instead of pointing at themselves. If I'm a leader, then I have the responsibility of resolving problems. That's what leadership is called. I can't go in front of my executive board and I'm pointing fingers. Oh, well, that was Joe Blow. He was responsible for this. No, I have to take responsibility. A leader is not supposed to be pointing fingers. They're supposed to solve problems. That's what they're supposed to do.
Remains in jeopardy. What more can you tell us about that?
That's right, David. Good morning. So the U.S. Department of Agriculture does not plan to use a contingency fund for SNAP benefits. So that means at this point, those benefits will not go out come November. But that's not the only pressure point lawmakers are facing right now. A federal workers union is now speaking out as those employees continue to go without paychecks. The nation's largest union of federal workers says it's time for the shutdown to end. The American Federation of Government Employees, which represents more than 800,000 people, says Congress needs to pass a short-term funding bill immediately.
That bill, with 5 courageous Democrats stepping forward and helping us pass it, could be on the president's desk, signed into law, and this government reopens.
But so far, Democrats are holding firm in their health care demands.
Republicans prefer to shut the government down over working with Democrats to extend the ACA tax credits.
Meanwhile, as food banks assist some federal workers, they're also preparing for a surge in demand. The USDA says it will not distribute SNAP benefits on November 1st, which could impact roughly 40 million people. The Trump administration does not plan to use a SNAP contingency fund, which holds between $5 and $6 billion.
The administration's decision to let SNAP freeze is callous, is cynical, and entirely unnecessary.
The best way for SNAP benefits to be paid on time is for the Democrats to end their shutdown.
Now, in a memo, the USDA says it can only use the contingency fund for unforeseen events like natural disasters. It says, therefore, the government shutdown does not qualify. David?
So, Kristen, will lawmakers try to keep food assistance programs funded during the shutdown?
So right now that's unclear. So legislation has been introduced to do that, but right now it's unclear if Senate Majority Leader John Thune is willing to put any of those proposals on the Senate floor for a vote. So right now it still remains to be seen, David.
All right, Kristen Escon, live in DC. Thanks.
You know what? It's just sad that the people that's in charge, we need real leadership, people to run for office, because we don't have anybody like working for the people. Nobody is really working for us, and that's a big issue. I think that's one of the biggest issues, is that we're not winning as Americans right now. We're not winning at all. This is like, no matter what's going on now, we're not winning. Because nobody's looking out for the welfare of the people of this country. Nobody's looking out for us. Everybody is so self-centered now, and people really don't care. And you have other people, the best thing you could do right now is get in contact with your congressman or your congresswoman and tell them you want the government reopened. And if you have a Republican senator or whatever, you need to tell them that you want them to go back to Washington and to work this out with the Democrats. And for them not to come out of their chambers until they solve it and they can come to an agreement. That's what should be going on. They should not be on vacation. They should be in Washington meeting with the Democrats. That's what should be going on. Because you're not going to solve anything if they're not there. So I hold them accountable, because they're the ones that's not trying to do anything, because they're not there. And they're not picking up the phone. And they're not communicating.
Yeah, and they're the ones in office.
Come on, you come in.
And they have
they're in office.
The branches of government.
Yeah,
Congress.
They have the 3 branches of government. Like, I will hold, like, when the Republicans or the Democrats, when they do something, I hold them accountable. I'm holding the Republicans. How the heck are you working anything out if you're not there? Yeah. How can you blame the other party when you're not showing up? These are facts. People don't like hearing facts. They want to stay in bubble land. As long as you stick with your party, that's all that matters, while people are going hungry. And while you might be one of the ones and don't realize that your premiums are going to go up so high that it's going to go up so much that you're not even going to be able to afford your own health care. They probably fighting for you and you don't even realize it because you think that you're immune to what's going on. It affects all of us. That's what we don't understand. What happens to someone else, another, is affecting you as well. It's affecting you as well. Because if they do what they say they're going to do, then even you're going to lose health care or your premiums are going to they're going to skyrocket it. So how are you winning? I don't want my insurance premiums going up. I pay them enough. They tell me if you pay $900, it could be $1,800 as an example. That's less money in your pockets. And you got people that's more concerned about they want to be so beholden to a freaking party that don't care about you. You should be beholden to God. It doesn't matter about what party. Y'all need to be praying that God that he touch these people in the name of Jesus. Because they need to get this done. They need to get it done.
Food stamps. No, we all see you, man.
Today marks day 27 of the government shutdown, and still there's no resolution in sight. Senate lawmakers return to Washington this afternoon, but the House remains in recess. Despite this, House Democrats are set to meet this week at the direction of Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. Additionally, after a Republican-backed bill to pay federal employees and contractors who continue to work without pay failed to advance last week, Senator Ron Johnson, who sponsored that bill, said he would look to continue talks with Democrats this week in hopes of passing it. Over the weekend, President Trump spoke to reporters, reiterating he'd be willing to meet with Jeffries to negotiate on health care if Democrats would reopen the government first.
There you have it. As the government shutdown is set to enter its 5th week on Wednesday, Democrats and Republicans still remain at an impasse with no resolution in sight. And now the situation has become even more dire for Americans after the Agriculture Department announced Saturday SNAP benefits would not be issued November 1. That affects over 40 million Americans. Jake, before we get into the details of this one and what
The ones that are cutting the program, you're the ones who shut down the government. But even if you want to debate whether who shut down the government, good, we'll have that debate in a second. But don't tell me that Democrats are welfare queens and all they want to do is, give everybody food stamps and then say, can you believe Democrats are taking away your food stamps? No, we all see you, man. I know in the old days you had mainstream media who just lie to everyone. Now there's online media. We see you. It's definitely Republican politicians taking away SNAP. And Sharon, even if you're a right-wing viewer right now, are you saying that the Republicans want to give away as much food stamps as possible? And that you're proud of that? No, I mean, nobody in their right mind, whether they're right-wing or left-wing, can make that argument except the giant liars that are Republican leadership. I literally don't see any other answer than that in this regard.
No, absolutely. And there's this, as we promised, USDA on Saturday posted this message to their website. Senate Democrats have now voted 12 times to not fund the food stamp program, also known as the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, SNAP. Bottom line, the well is run dry. At this time, there will be no benefits issued November 1. We are approaching an inflection point for Senate Democrats. They can continue to hold out for health care for illegal aliens and gender mutilation procedures, or reopen the government so mothers, babies, and the most vulnerable among us can receive critical nutrition assistance. So a warning was given earlier this month by Ronald Ward, the acting associate administrator for SNAP, who wrote in a letter October 10th this: as stated in our lapse of appropriation correspondence dated October 1, SNAP has funding available for benefits and operations through the month of October. However, if the current lapse in appropriations continues, there will be insufficient funds to pay full November SNAP benefits for approximately 42 million individuals across the nation. So pay attention to what he said at the end there, pay full SNAP benefits. To be clear, the well has not run dry. There's between $5 billion and $6 billion currently in that fund, experts say. That's not enough to cover the estimated $8 billion in SNAP benefits due out next month, but it would allow for partial payments to help low-income Americans defray food costs. They're holding that money hostage to put pressure on Senate Democrats. In a memo, the USDA said the reason is simple. The contingency fund was designed to respond to unforeseen events like natural disasters, and the current shutdown does not qualify because it was manufactured by Democrats. To spend the money on SNAP benefits during such an event, the USDA argues would be illegal. However, memo contradicts the shutdown plan prepared by USDA earlier in the year, which said the department is legally obligated to pay SNAP benefits in the event of a shutdown. Trump officials had located and were using stopgap funding to prop up the WIC program, which provides food aid to a smaller subset of people, including pregnant women, breastfeeding moms, and children under 5. To keep WIC benefits whole.
The thing about it is that at the end of the day, like we have had the Hill on, Fox News, CNN, we're not beholden to any freaking party. Okay? My news comes from Ground News. I pay for that because they're non-biased. And I listen to other content creators. But this is what's out here now. And we try to divide it between the Democrat viewpoint and the Republican viewpoint, because both parties are involved. It's not a one-party issue that's going on. It's both parties. And they both have to come to the table. And they both have to work this out on the behalf of the American people. That's what they were elected to do. But when you have the Republican Party that's not even in town and haven't been in town for the last 28 days, that proposed a problem, Houston. They're not getting the job done because they're not there to come to some compromise, to work something out. They're trying to do all or nothing. The Republicans aren't budging, all or nothing. So if the Democrats give in and people get food stamps this month, the 42 million Americans that are suffering from food insecurities, that are working or suffer different disabilities, or seniors or vets or children that need the help, because the minimum wage needs to be increased so they wouldn't need the help from the government like they do, then that's a whole nother issue. But you can't solve anything. Like if the Republicans were working this out diligently every day, then I'll be more on the Democrats, perhaps, maybe. But they haven't shown up. The Republicans haven't shown up. So what does that say to Americans? How much is that showing that they care about you if they won't even go to work to fight for you? I cannot defend that. How are you not going to show up for work? I can't not show up for work. How are you going to defend me not being there? And I'm scheduled to be there. And you haven't seen me for a month. But we got this big we have this big plan coming up that requires all of us to be there, and I haven't been there 28 days. So I'm not doing my job. And they're not doing their job. It's only but so much finger pointing the Republican Party can do if you're not showing up to work. That's my issue. We have been extremely supportive of the Republican Party, but I don't support everything, and I don't go along to get along. And we're not on here for views and all that. We want the truth. This is called Speak the Truth 2.0 for a reason. Because you need to be able to go somewhere where people are authentic, God-fearing, put God first, and they want what's best. And that's the type of leaders that we need in office. Because right now, nobody cares. Why are we in this dilemma? So we're waiting for, see what the Republicans are hoping, because they hey, you got to know the games. What they hoping is Thanksgiving's coming up, people going to be going hungry, kids are not going to be fed, vets are not going to be fed, disabilities, seniors, all these people are not going to be fed. There'll be such a cry from the country that they need food. And every news conference, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt and all of them are going to be like, it's the Democrats' fault till they cave in. That's the plan.
And Mike Johnson.
And Mike Johnson. That's the plan, for them to cave in. That's the whole plan. And once they do cave in, because the outcry of the people, because they haven't been to work all this time. They've been freaking at home. They haven't even been showing up to the job. How the hell you gonna point the finger? You ain't even showing up for work.
Yeah, like
I'm not gonna defend that.
like you guys can look up what AOC and Bernie said about.
Where is it at? You can look it up and I'll put it up. Just look it up. How you gonna blame a party and you're not even showing up for work? But that's what the plan is. Thanksgiving is coming up. Let the people get 2 weeks in. People get hungry. Crime going up, people stealing food, going in markets and corner stores, and they stealing food because they can't feed their children, and all this stuff. Chaos is breaking out, and people protesting, people angry, people fighting over bread. People get crazy, whichever one. People get crazy when they hungry. So when all that stuff, I don't know which one you want.
Yeah, I don't know which one it is.
Well, all that stuff is going on. All that stuff is going on, then the Democrats are going to cave in, and the Republicans are going to be happy, and then the next problem, you have lost your health care, or your premiums have skyrocketed to the point that you can't afford it any longer. So this is the people who not even going through the crisis. The ones that have the health care, got the job, you got a roof over your head, but then they're going to price you out of your health care. That's what's going on. It's a game. And y'all got to keep up. See, they way ahead of us. All the stuff that's going on, the American people, we all behind all the game. They gaslight. It's a game. So the Republicans are like, look, Thanksgiving's coming up. People going to want to, have their Thanksgiving turkey. They want the family coming around. And who's going to travel now? People aren't getting paid. The government's been shut down all this time. People have been going to work without having gas money or money even for food or money to pay their mortgage, their rent. People are expected, essential workers, to show up. They're going to get to the point the people are going to start crying out. And then they're going to keep hearing the Republicans, it's the Democrats' fault. It's their fault. They got the government closed. But the trade-off is you losing your health care. So they're going to put enough pressure on them. The American people are asleep in this. They sleep in this. And they're going to lose their health care. Hospitals going to close. Nursing homes going to close. Rural hospitals. All that is going to affect. Guess who's going to affect? MAGA. Food stamps is affecting the white community at 37%. They get more food stamps than anyone else. 37%. Black people are 26%. Hispanics are 16%. And it goes down to other ethnicities. It's white people that's being affected mostly with these food insecurities. Did you know that? Because every time they want to show a commercial or AI now, they want to show a black person like they struggling and they not working and they getting food stamps. That's a lie from hell. We don't lead in food stamps. White people do. 37%. But as long as they can keep brainwashing everyone and show you these AI videos or people, or like they made black people the face of DEI, which we didn't benefit from DEI, but black people's always the face. They want, they're taking this, black people taking this away when we've been stomped on more than any other ethnicity other than the Native Americans in this country. Yeah. And we're the problem, right? We have never been the problem. We have never been the problem. We never have. We've never done the things to people that's been done to us and other communities.
Yeah,
Is this it?
I think so.
Or Lake, Mississippi. She is a Democrat. She submitted her question via video.
A Democrat from Mississippi.
Indeed.
All right, there we go.
12 days ago.
My American dream has turned into a nightmare. My family was only days away from closing on a USDA loan for our dream home. Then came news of the shutdown, and now we face uncertainty. Our lease is up, and now we have to move. The shutdown is costing us our chance to live our dream. What are you doing to end this stalemate and help restore faith in our elected officials, the people I helped to choose to guard my American dream?
We're going to do everything that we can to bring an end to this terrible shutdown, which is hurting you and which is hurting 1 million federal employees and millions of people who use federal services. But also, we have got to be cognizant that if Trump wins this fight, our healthcare system could well collapse and tens of thousands of people could die every single year.
Do you think Trump could win this fight?
No, we're going to win it. But it's not, I don't want to look at it like a political fight. We're going to win it because the American people are on our side. If you are, or if you're a Republican congresswoman,
They're going to cave.
you're going to go back to your district and people are going to say to you, why are you doubling my insurance premiums? Why did you throw me off of health care? That's a fight that Republicans are not going to win.
Well, and to Bobby's question, Representative, earlier you said that House Speaker Mike Johnson said he wants this shutdown to be one of the longest in history. I believe he said it could be one of the longest in history. He was saying that more of a warning about how long it could go on. I don't think it was a threat. But I do think people want to know how long they should brace for this to potentially go on for. Do you think by Thanksgiving the government could still be shut down?
I mean, I would certainly hope not. I would certainly hope not. My hope is that we're able to resolve this as quickly as possible. I'm ready to negotiate. Bernie's ready to negotiate. I mean, we are all open and ready to.
Is anyone actually negotiating right now?
No, but let me reiterate one point. Republicans aren't in town. How do you negotiate with people who refuse even to show up to do their job? They're on vacation for what, a month ago?
Yes. House Republicans have been on vacation for a
But the Republican senators are here, and House Speaker Mike Johnson, we've had him on. He said, we've done our job. We passed the clean CR in the House. It's now up to the Senate to make these negotiations.
They need to pick up a phone, Caitlin. They need to pick up a phone. They're saying that they're doing all this work. They are twiddling their thumbs and talking to each other. It is actually an unconscionable abdication and refusal to work. They refuse. I've never seen people who hate working so much in my life. I mean, genuinely, they won't even pick up the phone. They won't. If I were Mike Johnson, you should be in that office negotiating with Hakeem Jeffries every damn day until we reopen this government. And any day that you don't do that is a failure. It is a failure. And until there is accountability for people who refuse to work, then we're going to continue to be in this cycle. So, you know, in the Senate, the Senate Majority Leader is John Thune. He should be negotiating with Chuck Schumer. President Trump should be having congressional leaders in the White House. Do you see that every day? No, you don't, because they're playing golf and they're going to Mar-a-Lago, and the House and Republicans in the House have been on vacation for weeks now. We are here in Washington, D.C. We are ready to work. We are ready to strike a deal. We're not here to just be my way and the highway about everything. But what we're also not going to accept is the complete collapse of the American healthcare system, so that just because the Republican Party has decided to take 1 million federal workers hostage.
Can I ask you on that? Because you before have said a government shutdown is like hostage taking when it comes to paychecks, because you came into office actually during a government shutdown, the longest in U.S. history. So what would you say to Republicans who say you're doing the hostage taking this time?
Once again, hostage taking if they refuse to clock in, right? We're all clocked in. We're all clocked in to do the job. They're not even here. They're not even here. And so it's not hostage taking as much as the fact that they refuse to show up and do the job.
Once again, the law is in the Senate, they need 60 votes. They don't have 60 votes. They've got 53, or maybe 52. that means you have to sit down and talk to the other side. It is not complicated. They are not doing that.
Yeah, it's terrible to have these elected officials that not even working this out. Now, it's nothing. Our hands are tied because what can we do about it? Call our senators, call our congressmen. We got to get on the phone, and we need them to come together without pointing fingers, and work this out on behalf of the American people.
That's it.
Period.
That's the thing that sucks about like politics is that there's never any middle ground. It's always just the left versus the right. There's never a middle ground.
But you know what? What's going to happen, and it's going to happen, I think the Republicans, they're going to get hit. They're going to get slapped in the face on this one because they see what's going on, and they so stuck for some freaking party that they're not understanding that they are humans. Y'all gonna get slapped with this. Y'all gonna get slapped right in the face. I think the Democrats at this point is fighting more for the freaking Republicans than the Republican leadership that's supposed to be representing them. Really, all of us. They got these Republicans that's not going to work, and you still have on this poll 67% of people it changed. 60% they blame Democrats and 40% Republicans. You got to be, it must be some kind of illness. Maybe it's a brain disease. Because if you can't see this, you're so stuck on a damn party so much that you can't even see this. They're going to get slapped. I could have been put on, like I was watching it during the week, all these different Republicans, white Republicans, MAGA, they in all the red states, they all complaining about that they the ones being hit. But on the commercials, they want to show you black people. They on there just complaining. The farmers are complaining, everybody's complaining. And for you still to see, how are you going to not have the Republicans take accountability? I don't understand. How are you not going to have them take accountability?
Yeah.
Are you so confused that you think that 42 million people is a drop in the bucket that's going to have food insecurities this week? And they don't know and they know Thanksgiving is coming up, and if the Democrats crash, then you'll be the ones, your damn premiums are going to go up if you have health care. And then you're going to be like, well, my premiums went up. I just have to cut down my electric and don't use as much gas to heat my house and stuff. I got to do all these things. But when it hits your house, see, people got to suffer. It got to hit your house because I'm shocked. I voted Republican. I'm standing up here saying this. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And it doesn't make any sense. But this is a lose-lose because people crazy. People crazy. That's people just crazy. You're going to have food insecurities. And in order not to have food insecurity, you're going to have food insecurity and you're going to lose health care. How is that a win-win for Americans?
I saw this comment a couple of times. They keep saying that we're not Republicans.
We don't care what you say. It doesn't matter. Nobody's here to prove anything to any of y'all. But I don't understand how people don't come to work and you're not going to hold them accountable. That's why they're not there. Because guess what? They could compromise. They could work this out. They're not even trying to.
Oh, there goes Jack.
They're not even trying to work this out. And y'all have the audacity not even to hold them accountable. I'm holding them accountable.
Yeah. This is the one time I agree with the Democrats here. And I'm a
Jack, I love to hear that.
Yeah. And I have a Trump hat. I can even go get it and show you right now.
Get your stuff. Okay. They look. Y'all don't know us. Yeah. You know? It's just amazing. And this is not about, it's not about us. We're good because we're alike. And God said, let your light shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. It's our calling to speak the truth and to be honest. We're not being the Christians that we are. We sit back and watch others suffer because we're not suffering, because we don't need food stamps, because I own a single home and I drive luxury cars and my bank account is swelling and I'm good. I'm more than good because my help comes from God. And that's why I'm not beholden to any party. But I suggest people need more than one stream of income in this day and time. You can't depend on just your job. You got to have your money. I got my money like in 10 different places. You got to spread that wealth out and invest. Now, I'm supposed to have Birch Gold on here. I didn't get them on yet. I didn't forget about you, Birch Gold. I'm just sorry. I just haven't been consistently going live lately, but I'm going to pick it up. Go ahead, Sean.
Oh, see, I got my Trump hat. Got a red one.
Yeah, where's your red one?
Got the shirt too. It's about Jesus Christ and about Trump being president.
We got a lot of shirts. Yeah. We got a Trump shirt. If you look at my viral video, it has over 1.5 million people that have watched it. It went viral, and I'm saying I voted for Biden, but this time it's Trump. Yeah. But now I'm like, what has happened? What's going on here? What's going on here? You go look at some of my videos. Look at all the videos. Trump is highlighting just about all our videos.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go along with everything. And I've been saying that from day one. If I see stuff I don't agree with, I'm going to call it out. But I know good and darn well, and always being a legislative director, you got to have a seat at the table in order to resolve issues. So if you're not there, how are you going to resolve this government shutdown? But that's all. They're going to squeeze the people, and people are going to be crazy. People are going to be crying, and they don't have the food, and they're going to demand the government be open. And that's what the Republicans are doing. They're waiting it out. And all they got to do is keep on telling you it's the Democrats' fault while they don't even show up for work.
It's a blame game.
It's a blame game. They're not showing up for work. And it's the Republicans that are going to be hit the hardest. Isn't that ironic? It's great. The Republicans, the red states are going to be hit the hardest. Trump voters are going to be hit the hardest. Isn't that something? You didn't know that, did you? I think I got to look for it tomorrow. I had all the statistics and other videos, and now doing this, I wasn't ready for it. But they're going to be hit the hardest. They're going to be hit the hardest. What's going on? But that's okay. You remember this. If any of you on here, you think you're not going to be affected, you will be. Because then when the Democrats cave in and everybody premiums, I don't want my health premiums going skyrocketing. That's taking money out of my pockets. I don't want that to happen. But that's what's going to happen. It's inevitable because people, we don't have sense enough to hold our elected officials accountable. So it is, and all of us got to suffer because of a few people that don't understand that we're being played. That's how it is. So people are going to have food insecurities, and people are going to lose their health care, and hospitals are going to close, nursing homes are going to close, vets are going to be put out of jobs. People, hundreds of thousands of jobs have already been lost. Even during this shutdown, been 4,000 more. So this is America first. Welcome to America first.
And that's what I wanted to talk about earlier, what Byron Donalds just did.
So this is America first. So anyway, we're going to jump off of here. And thank you guys for joining us. And we'll be on here tomorrow. Probably going to try to come on here twice, do 2 lives, because I'm kind of behind because, life get busy, been busy. But we want to be consistent because this is important. We're going to cover this shutdown, the effects it's having on American people, who's really responsible for what's going on, who's being affected with numbers, statistics, and records and proof and all of that. And if you don't know, fact check, Google it. Google, use ChatGPT, use AI, find out. Go to Ground News.
AI is
they're non-biased. They show the Republican side, they show the Democrat side. We try to show, the different news programs from Fox News to CNN, The Hill, Breaking Forward News. We try to, do both sides, the Democrats and the Republicans. So anyway, you guys. It's just, I don't know. But they going to win. And,
Yeah.
and they're gonna win.
Yeah.
This country is falling apart at the seams. It really is.
And see, some people like in the concert scene was just really heartless. Like Mike said, still don't care. I don't ever care if these EBT queens ever get it back.
And you know what? You must be a queen. These are my EBT queens. That could be your aunt or one of your family members or your distant cousins. Because if you white, it's affecting the white community more than anybody else. See, the news got to stop lying to all these stereotypes they got going out there. People that's getting SNAP, 42 million people. It's not that they're not working. That's misinformation. They work, but they're making living wage. Living wages do not afford you a home, food, cars, and all of that. They're making minimum wages. That's why they have food insecurities. They need help. And because you don't need help now, don't worry, it's coming your way. Because God sees you, God sees your heart. You're not humble, you're not thankful, and you want to point the finger. Everybody goes through something in life. People that had jobs lost their jobs since this administration came into power. People are looking for jobs. The jobs are not affording them. People working 2 and 3 jobs and still need help because they're not making any money. They're not making enough money. It costs out here. You know how high food is expensive. Mortgages, rent, cars, insurances, utilities, it costs. So anyway, keep that attitude. Keep that attitude. Just keep that attitude. Keep the attitude. And I thank God the way that he made me to care about others. And I know that God doesn't have to bless me. There's nothing special about me. I could be one of those people. And I thank God I'm not. But that does not mean not to care about others. It doesn't mean that because you're being taken care of. That doesn't mean you turn your back on others because it could be you. And if it's not you, you should be thanking God, giving God the glory, and thanking God that you got a roof over your head. Because there's people that's living on the streets, and there's people that's living in their cars and vans, and they have nowhere to go, and they have no family. They have no health insurance. They have nothing. So you're blessed. So thank God for that. So anyway, I'm going to jump off of here. You know,
to the person that said don't work, don't eat, what do you say to, you see that to also the military that's homeless now, that's on the streets now, that served for this country, don't work, don't eat? People with disabilities, don't work.
You know what? Ignorance is a bliss. Yeah. And they will reap what they sow. You're going to reap everything you sow because there is a God out here. And you got to be careful how you treat people and what you say to people. And for you to be that selfish and self-centered, because like we said, there are people that got disabilities. There are people who are seniors that are children. People go to work every day and they need help because minimum wages it's not enough. People are not sitting around just collecting these benefits. They got to be approved for benefits. They got to show that they don't have enough. The government is not just handing money out, and they're giving them the bare minimum. They said, I saw a program saying that they only get like $196, I think, a month. Can you live off of $196 a month for food? Really? I think I spend that within 2 days, just going to market or going out to eat. I've had people drop $300 for lunch. Going out. I'm like, what? But that don't mean you don't care about others. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, you keep that attitude. You keep that attitude. God is good. And I just pray in the name of Jesus, God, that the people in need, however we can help, or whatever can be done, these food pantries, just fill them up, God. These churches and organizations, that they be there to help the people, that there be food. America shouldn't be going through this, and we giving $350 billion to Ukraine. We gave $40 billion to Argentina. We hand out billions of dollars around the world, and this is what we're going through? And this is America? Y'all need to think about that. This is America. So all that blame game, it don't work here. I hold both parties responsible, and I hold the Republicans more responsible because they don't have a seat at the table. You can't resolve this if you're not at work. So they're not trying to resolve it. They're going to have their way. The people are going to cry out. I'm already saying what's going to happen. The people are going to cry out because after a week, that's what they're hoping. They want the government to stay shut down. The Republicans want this to happen because guess what? They're going to win. They're going to win this because they're going to hit the people in the stomach. And just like the poll said, they blame the Democrats. Democrats going to wind up giving in, and then people are going to lose their health care. The Republicans gonna win. They know what they're doing. Thanksgiving coming up, people gonna cry out, and they gonna win. So they're not trying to compromise, and you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose at the end of the day. But God protect us from the crown of our heads to the soles of our feet. God said we would not lack any good thing to them that walk uprightly. So we just thank you, God, for all your provision. Jehovah Jireh, the Lord our provider. You know, because you got to trust in God in this day and time because man is fallible, and I see the decisions people are making, even with the stuff right in front of them. They're not even demanding for their Congress people to return to work. Who figures? It's crazy.
People voted.
Yeah, I saw the poll. It's crazy. They ain't going to work, and they going to blame, they doing because the Republicans say it's their fault. The Republicans are blaming the Democrats, and they not at work. How does that happen? They don't play at you. It look like America is going backwards to me. We losing. Every administration come in, it's like we taking a hit no matter who's in office. That's what they're proving to me. No matter who's in office, we're still taking a hit. I thought it was going to be better for us. I never saw no depression-like symptoms happening in this country. They said that what's going to happen this week if it's not the government doesn't open up is nothing like this happened since the Depression. That's crazy. The Depression. And that's how this world, I mean, there's no truth any longer. It's right there. People are not at work, and they're not blaming the people that's not showing up.
Also, I put some of this too, like on Trump, how even he refers to the Democrats at times as lunatic leftists and the insane Democrats and stuff like that.
And Trump got to realize he's the president of all Americans. He's not just a president of Republicans or MAGA. He's the president of all of us. So when you refer to the people that you're serving as lunatic right, left, and low IQs and born criminals and all these labels, is not a good representation when you're supposed to be serving all the people. It's not good at all. So anyway, you guys, the way this, I already tell you, the Democrats going to cave in. The Republicans are hoping that's why they stand their ground. Every news conference, they flood the news every day, every single day. They flood the news. They control the news. And every day they tell you it's the Democrats' fault why they don't even show up for work. And people buy it. And they let you think people are lazy and people are not working. And they give you all these falsehoods. And you believe that. They put black people as the face of it. Like black people are the ones that aren't working. And that's a lie. When the majority of people that collect food stamps and welfare are white people. But they don't want to tell you that. You know, so you can look it all up, fact check everything I said, fact check it. So anyway, you guys, y'all stay true, stay blessed, stay fed, and try to help each other. And people are going to really be going through. You got people that have been working and they're not getting paid, and the people who are in charge of the government are the Republicans. So I'm going to blame the people. Like if the Democrats, when they were in power, I blamed them. The Republicans are in power. So I'm blaming them. What's going on is their responsibility. It's their responsibility. So anyway, like y'all said, like the poll was, they mostly blame the Democrats. What's that, 64%?
Yeah,
What's that?
63%.
63 Democrats, 37 Republicans.
At first, it was starting off tied. I was like, okay, it's tied.
Yeah, well, that's the people that's on it. Is the Republicans. They're going to die hard for MAGA. They're going to die hard themselves and with no hospital and no food. So you win.
One guy in the chat said, will you be willing to read and repeat if someone could show you the government statistics?
Yeah, of course I would.
Yeah, but the statistics.
Yeah, this is not about, see, y'all so busy want to like,
Go to war.
yeah, it's like y'all want to defend your stance so badly that that's more important than what's happening to people in real time. It's like, this is not about parties. It's about people. It's about what's going to happen to people. But y'all can't get beyond, it's like y'all worshiping a party.
Yeah.
Not God. Y'all are more interested in worshiping a party. And they're rich and all Congress, whether Republicans or Democrats, they all are rich. All of them are. They all are getting paid. They're not missing a paycheck. They all are going to keep their health insurance. They're not going through what everyday Americans are going through, and y'all can't see it. As long as as long as you think you're doing better than the next person, that's all they have to show. As long as you think you're doing better than the black person, then you think you fine. But you're still poor. When black people are multimillionaires and billionaires and upper middle class and wealthy and they want you to keep those stereotypes. We're not our ancestors. As long as they can continue feeding the media, is going to keep feeding you what they want you to believe, then that's what's going to happen. Anyway, you guys, don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe. We'll be on here tomorrow. And we want to get diving more into these topics and like what's going on in this country because it matters. And this shutdown, we're going to most definitely be on here. Look for us November the 1st. If they allow people to lose their SNAP benefits, we most definitely going to be live. And we want to talk to people that's being affected. Like I know it's probably been people on here. There are going to be some of the people that are essential workers. Some of these are government workers. Some of the people that are receiving benefits. We want to hear from you. And maybe we'll bring you on the program. We want to hear what you're going through and what it's like for you to have your life in limbo because of the government. So anyway, you guys, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe and God bless.